Welcome guys, welcome again to another video. I hope you guys doing well. Welcome to 2025. I decided to create my own backend and using ASP.NET Core. I'm going to be creating a web API. Here I have an example of where we are going to be building. This is here Swagger. I'm using .NET 8 and I created a login and a registration, and I'm going to be using ASP.NET Core identity. And I'm going to create a register API and also users role management, and I'm going to implement the JWT authentication. We are going to protect the API endpoints, and the testing we are going to be using Swagger. So in this tutorial I'm going to walk you through everything. Also we're going to be using JWT, which is JSON Web Tokens. So here's an example here. I'm showing you here an example. So stay tuned to the end so that way you guys can learn how to use ASP.NET Core. And then on the front end, of course, I'm going to be using React.js. So this is pretty good video. So make sure you haven't subscribed. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share the video. So let's stay tuned and let's start working on it. Alright guys, so the very first thing I want to do is I'm going to open my command prompt, and I am going to create a folder. And if you're using Windows, you can use you can type in mkdir and whatever the name of the folder you're gonna name it. I am going to be creating this one. It's going to be called events, and then I'm also I'm gonna go ahead and create the I'm going to use .NET new web API, and I'm gonna name it. So you have to type in dash name API and dash controllers. Oh, I messed up here, so let's do it again. So you got to do is .NET new web API, and you got to put down dash n for the name, whatever the name of the project you want to name it, and that's going to be it right there. See, now it created the project. And then so if you go to my folder here, events, see now I have, it says API. And then also I need to create a SLN, so I am going to create a .NET SLN. So if you messed up, the actual computer will actually help you. So let's start doing it again. Oh, also you have to pick the location. Make sure, yeah, see now it created that. Now you have to add it. So now you have to do .NET new .NET SLN add. You have to add the API. That's the name of the project. .NET add. Okay, it successfully made the project. So now I can open it. You can either use VS Code, or you can use Visual Studio 2022, or I'm sorry, or you can use if you're still in 2019, but I'm using Visual Studio 2022, and or you can use VS Code, but I'm going to be using for this project I'm going to be using Visual Studio 2022, and I'm going to go ahead and close this command prompt. And the very first thing I'm going to do, you go to the right here, and I'm going to open the project so we can see what we get out of the box. This is just a pop-up here. I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to go ahead and right click, and actually the very first thing, let's go ahead and add up some packages. Let's go to Nugget packages, and let's go ahead and open it up. And let's go ahead and start. Let's go to the browse and go ahead, and I am going to copy some of these packages that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using one for the SQL. I'm going to be using, while I'm building the project, I'm going to use SQLite, because it's during the production of the project, I usually use like a light database, and then as the project grows, then I can switch it to whatever other base, because I'm going to be using migration. So you can change, it allows you to change the database. So I'm going to import also Microsoft Entity Framework tools, and it makes sure it matches your your .NET runtime. So mine, I'm using .NET 8. If you're using .NET 9 or the latest, you can select that, so that way make sure that way the project doesn't it doesn't have any bugs or anything like that. So make sure you always select the correct runtime. So a couple more. Also, I'm going to use identity, so, and also the JSON JWT. See, I'm importing the SQL. That's the one I'm going to be using. If you're using SQL Server, you're welcome to use it. It will still work. So so in less than 3 hours, you should be able to have a whole backend, and you can use whatever preference, whatever framework you want to use. You can even use vanilla JavaScript to create the whole front end, but I'm going to be using the React project that I created. So I'm going to be using that, but first I'm going to go ahead and take care of the back end, so that way I can log in, register, and yeah. So again, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. So if you have any questions, you can leave it on the bottom of the video. And yeah, so I'm installing all the packages, and then after I'm install the packages, I'm going to create a folder for one. I'm going to call it models. You can name it models or entities. So, and then it's just a bunch of classes. Yeah, ASP.NET Core is very, very lightweight, very fast. So, and it's used quite a bit by big companies. So it's good to know ASP.NET Core. So I'm gonna go ahead and right click. This is I'm just rebuilding the application again. So, and on the bottom, if you haven't used Visual Studio 2022 before, I'm just showing you guys here. It has different icons that you can actually navigate, like to find errors, or if you need to install packages from there, you can actually do it from there too. I think it's a well-made editor by Microsoft. It's a very well-maintained editor. So here I'm gonna go ahead and create a folder, and I'm going to name it models. And then here I am going to create my first class, and the first class is going to be, I'm going to be calling this one application users. The only thing is, when you're using Visual Studio 2022, it does require more memory on your computer. So definitely you need to have a fast computer. So here I'm going to go ahead and import identity. So, and then that brings a whole library right out of the box for the registration. It gives you pretty much everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and import that, and I'm gonna, in order for you to, and if you're working inside the class, you can type in the shortcut prop, and it pretty much that's what it creates. It creates the it's like a shortcut, so it allows you to type in less. So that's that. It already brought the packages. If there's any error codes when it compiles, it will pretty much. That's what I like about ASP.NET Core. It will tell you any errors that you might have right out of the box. So, and then the other one, I am going to create another class. and this is going to be named appointments. So on the appointments, you're going to need a title, you're going to need a description, what type of, and you want to type in the duration, and you want what time you're going to be arriving to the appointment, and how long of an appointment it's going to be. And then you want to have an admin. You want to have, like, for example, if this could be for like an office, for like doctor office, like you can put the doctor, the patient, and you also need an admin. So you can pretty much do all of that. And whenever you create one, you're going to need so all of this here, we're going to be using the migrations to create the database. So we're going to first create classes, and then we're going to create a folder. It's going to be called data, and it's going to be called we're going to create a class that's going to be data context, and then we have to create a connection string inside the app settings. So first, let's finish this class. And also too, I'm gonna create like if it make sure it gets approval. So once you start coding so much, you start typing coding, like the code kind of, you start seeing like patterns, like the codes are similar. Like if you type if you doing JavaScript or CSharp, it's like there's some similarity between the codes. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a folder. It's gonna be named data. And inside there, I'm going to create a class that's going to be called data context. Often named as application DB context in ASP.NET Core projects. Is a class that acts as a bridge between the application and the database. So it's a bridge, pretty much it's a bridge. So every time you do a migration, this is where it starts up. So it manages database connection, establishes and maintains a connection with your database. It handles the crop operations. It allows to perform create, read, update, and delete operations, like with the DB set. And you will bring your class, whatever class you might have. Like, for example, could be like application users, and you can create a table based on that. So it tracks the changes. When you use the EF core, automatically tracks the changes in your entities and applies them when you save changes. So this is where you will execute migrations, enables database migrations. So here, all these underlined here, we're going to have to go ahead and you can hit Control Dot, and you can go ahead and bring the library or the package that it needs for the data context to work, to get rid of the error code. So you just have to hit Control Dot, and then it will bring the package. Also too, you have to implement this inside the program CS. So inside the program CS, I'm going to do a little bit different. I am going to create an extension, and we're going to use a static class. So that's what we are going to do. Normally you can implement it here where it says services, inject services, but I'm going to go ahead and do it right away. I'm going to go ahead and make my program CS a little lightweight, so that way it has less code, better implementation, better code, so you can read it properly. It's not going to look like a scrambled eggs. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a folder, and it's gonna be called extensions. So that's what I'm gonna do. So here I am going to implement the application service extension class for a cleaner dependency injection. So it keeps the program CS clean, reduces the clutter by moving services registration to separate files. And also it promotes reusability, so you can use the same configuration across multiple projects. and also improves the maintenance. That's a pretty tough word to say. So it's easier. It means easier to manage dependency as the project grows. In other words, that's what it is. So here I am going to go ahead and here I am going to implement a static class in front of it. Oh, and also too, I don't know if you noticed the Visual Studio 2022. A lot of times it gives you like little like startup code, so sometimes you can implement yours with that, mix it up a little bit. So it's kind of like a startup code. So it's not perfect, but it's like a helper. So you can use that too. So I'm go ahead and inject it here. So here, let me go to the program CS. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete the extra ones, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring those classes here inside there. So here I am going to implement, I'm going to create a variable. I'm going to call it bar connection string. But first I'm going to do public static iService collection add application service. And inside there, I'm going to use the special work. I don't know if you remember from JavaScript. So we use this, and then next to that, I'm going to use iService collection service. And then you have to bring iConfiguration, and it has to bind. So I'm going to use config. So that way I can go ahead and use it inside the inside here. So and then you also have to at the end you have to return a service, so that we can get rid of the error code. So I'm going to do that. So here I am going to create a variable, and the variable is going to be here I'm bringing in service controllers, and let me see here. So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to do is bar connection strings config get connection string. So here I am going to go ahead and use the default connection, and actually you see if you actually hit just control dot or tab, it gives you like already like a startup code. And of course I'm gonna implement a little extra stuff on it, so that way in case I get an error code. So I wanted to throw a new invalid operation exception. So and inside there I'm gonna type in connection string default connection not found. So pretty cool. So here also too, you can actually add up like your controllers, you can add up your interfaces, you can add up your identity, you can add up a lot of things here. So yeah, in the bottom of the video, don't forget to, if you have any questions, make sure you share it. And we're also going to be using JWT to use a token. So whenever you log in, you're going to get a token out of it. So here, see how the Visual Studio is already implementing it for me, so I don't have to, it's less typing for me. So yeah, it's Visual Studio 2022, very smart. And so see the underline, let's get rid of that. Let's go ahead and hit control dot and implement it. So now that we have that, let me go ahead and bring some more. Let me add up another service here, and here I am going to add up the course, because we are going to use React for the front end. And so in order for React to work, because there's two separate applications, we're going to be using .NET Core for the back end, and for the front is going to be, we're going to use JavaScript framework React.js, which is a very popular framework. A lot of developers use it, a lot of companies use it, so we want to stick with the popular one. So here I'm bringing in the application user, and I also using identity roles, so that way we can actually implement the roles inside the application. When we're going to be using we're going to be creating the roles for like the patient, the doctor, and also the admin. So that's going to come very handy. So also another thing too, you want to do whenever you're typing your code, you want to go ahead and make sure you leave notes for you, so that way if if you ever get stuck or something, you can always read back. You can always go back and make sure you always leave little notes for yourself, and you can do like little hints like that. So here I'm implementing sections because we are going to need that when you log in. Cool. So that's that. Also, I'm going to implement the catch on it. So then I can, once I'm finished with the class, once I finish the implementing my extension here, then you can actually go to the program CS and go ahead and inside the program CS, we are going to inject it. So here what you want to do is you want to use builder because it's coming for the variable. I don't know if you can see it on the top. It says bar builder, web application create builder. So we're going to use builder.service, and we're going to go ahead and add application service, and inside there we're going to pass builder.configuration, and that's it. See, much cleaner, much lighter. The code doesn't, it still works, doesn't break, but it's much nicer, much better as the application grows. If you have multiple applications running in the same spot, so it doesn't get, it's a cleaner way. It's like having a house, clean. So let me go ahead and CD to the API, and I'm going to go ahead hit .NET watch run, make sure it works, make sure I don't. So when it's going to compile, if the application for any reason it doesn't build, it will give you the error code. It will give you the problem on it, and you can go on and try to search it. So it's going to build. Of course, I haven't created the controllers yet, and inside because we're doing the development, I am going to go ahead and inside here I'm going to go ahead and create a connection, and inside there I'm going to type in connection string, and I'm going to use default connection. And because I'm using SQLite, it's a little bit different, but you can use SQL Server. It doesn't, it does not make a difference on it because we're going to be doing migration. So here I'm going to name the application. You can call it AppDB, BlockDB, whatever you want to do. So let me go ahead and save it, and then I'm going to go ahead and do it again. So see, now it has built, and I'm using Swagger. And again, like I said, it's not going to give you. This is what came out of the box, which is just the weather forecast. Not a big thing here. So inside there, we are actually going to stop it, and I am going to go ahead and create my first migration. So that how it goes .NET EF migration at, and then I'm going to call it add model, and then I'm going to go ahead to be output in the data folder, and I'm going to name it migrations. So that when it builds up, it's going to display inside the data folder. So once I hit enter, and if it doesn't work, it will give you either didn't build succeed, or it didn't, or it's going to give you error. So it's going to take a bit. It's going to check. It's thinking. So yeah, once it goes through, yeah, see, it went through. Build was, see, now we have a folder for migration. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit .NET EF database update. So make sure you follow, and you can do the same thing if you're using SQL Server. And the only thing is you got to worry about your connection string. Make sure it works. So see, now it has built. It has built a database. Also, we're going to create a folder for you can either create a folder for DTO or one for view models. I'm going to use view models. View models inside ASP.NET Core. It's we're going to use it so we can build the login and the registration. So we can use the view models and create their login and registration forms. You can also use DTO, which stands for Data Transfer Objects. So here I am going to create one. It's going to be called Login View Models. It's just a class. So this is to improve the security and maintainability and scalability. So it's so pretty much inside here, inside the these classes here, you want to have, like, you can put the username, the password that you're going to use to log in. So it's pretty much a class. It's just a UI layer. So once we have the two classes, I'm going to implement. You can implement the. You put an email. You can do username. You can put down the password for the login. So on this one here, I'm going to use the email, and I'm going to go ahead and do data annotations to make sure it is required, and then you can actually implement more stuff to it. Like, you can put down that it's an email address, and on the password you can put down how many characters it could be as a require. So it's just pretty much a couple classes there. So in the same thing, you can actually use you can use DTOs, and you will have to use mapper to map the classes. So but on this video, I'm going to use view model. Maybe I'll change it to DTOs later. But this one here, for the video, we are going to use view models. All right, so like, for example, inside the for the login, I can put down the make sure is required. I can put down data type, like the type of data it is, like if it's a password, and you can put a message, like a error message, in case they forget to insert the email or the password. You can put down an alert saying invalid password, invalid formatting, So we are going to do the same thing. Excuse me, bad allergies I have. So then we have a register view model, and inside the register view model, we can put down, like, the full name, the name. You can put down that is required, and you can put an error message, like it's saying email require or name is require. And for the password, you can type in you can create two properties. One is for the password, and then the other one could be to confirm the password. So I'm going to use name right here, and then the email. So you just follow along. And then once we have all of this, then we're going to go ahead and focus about creating the controller. Actually, we have to create because we're going to be using JWT for the token, so we're going to move from there to that. We're actually going to create also an account controller. So yeah. So I know it's a lot of typing. So once we have that set up, we can actually reuse it and for many applications, and then you can just focus on the front end afterwards. So yeah, so we can put down data type and data type password. Yeah. So and also this improves the UI logic, separates the from the business logic. So it's a plus and a plus. And you can display errors when you're trying to log in or try to register. You have, it will help you troubleshoot the errors. on the forms. So here I'm going to type in I know this is a long video. We still got quite a bit of stuff to build, but it's great. But if you've been watching it so far and you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Help the channel grow. Make sure if you have any questions, leave it on the bottom of the video, and or if you have a idea to make it better, leave it in the bottom of the video too, and let us know where you're watching the video from. Yeah. Oh, and also too, like if you're yeah, see right here, I'm confirming. Make sure the password is confirmed. Make sure it matches the password to the one in the top. So that's when you type in your form. This is what you will see on the back end. This is so many companies use ASP.NET Core for the security and it's so easy to implement. When you build the application for the API, it's so easier. It's so much easier. You get a lot out of the box, so it's a pretty good framework to learn. And also too, if you're searching online, most of the jobs that are looking, they want you to have a framework, of course, for the front end, like Angular, React, or Vue, or Blazor. But the back end is like, I noticed a lot of jobs that are popping up. They want you to know ASP.NET Core. So it's a very popular framework, and it's also made by Microsoft, so you can't go wrong with that. So here in the bottom, I'm going to implement the role. So, and I'm going to make sure it's required. So, and also too, we are going to see the data. So we're going to implement an admin. So the ASP.NET Core, we're going to write a code so that way the ASP.NET Core will create an admin, and also going to create roles for for an admin, doctor, and patient. So you can change it around. You can use it for something else if you want. So it doesn't have to be. You may get any type of roles that you want. So that's that. So that was it. Here I am going to go ahead and add another package, and it's going to be the JWT. Actually, for that, I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and create a interface for the token service. So I'm going to go ahead and implement that. So we're going to create an interface, and so the iToken service. And this one here is just going to be called a string create token, and I'm going to inject the application user here, application user, and then we're going to go ahead and create the next folder. I'm going to call it service, and inside the service I'm going to have the token service. You go ahead and create the folder, and I'm going to name it services. So as that. and this is just another class. So if you notice, if I don't know if you haven't seen it, but like from the beginning, it's everything has been classes and classes. You know, that's pretty much what it is. So here we're gonna hear it from iToken service, and then we're gonna implement. We're gonna go ahead, control dot, implement the service, and then we are going to create a constructor in the top. You can type in CTOR, and that will start up the constructor. And inside there, we're going to inject the iConfiguration config. So this is where we're going to put down our symmetric. For the security, we're going to inject the JW registered claims. We're going to use also to like the token, the user, the audio. So this is pretty much this is where it's going to verify to make sure it is you. So, and then once we create this service, then we can pretty much inject it inside the account controller that we're going to create after. And again, if you have any questions, make sure you leave it on the bottom of the video. Or if you have a better way to do it, share it with me. There's the cool thing about coding, and there's many ways to do the same thing, as long as you come out with the same solution. Many ways to fix a problem. All right, guys. So here we are going to create a variable. This one is going to be called bar secret token, or you can name it whatever you want to do. So here we're going to use that underline config, and over here we're going to pass the app settings .json, and I'm going to name it token key. So let me explain a little bit. So if you follow along with me, and I don't know if you noticed, but like Visual Studio gives you they give you a lot. It gives you a lot of hints, so you don't have to start from scratch. But yeah, so it's pretty cool with this the Copilot. It's pretty cool. All right, so here what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave some notes on it if we ever have to go back. So let me talk about what I'm typing. So JW tokens are tokens, and they are used for authentication. You can store a secret key inside the app settings JSON. So I'm going to show you that after we're done with this thing, creating the token, and you can use it as it's kind of like a signature. When you log in, it's kind of like a signature, so it knows it's you, the application. So it's more secure for authenticating the users. So here let's go ahead and create a string. So if it's null, make sure we throw an error code saying you can put down token not found. You can put whatever you want, but anyhow. So in here, what we're going to do is the argument exception. We're going to type in token key is missing from the configuration. And under that, I'm going to put another note under this. I'm going to put down, it says create the symmetric security key and signing credentials. So that's what I'm going to put down. And we're going to create two variables. The first one is going to be bar key, and then we're going to use new symmetric security key. So hopefully you guys having a good day, guys. Again, if you're new to the channel, you haven't been in my channel, make sure you subscribe. Help the channel grow, and I'll continue making videos. This is supposed to be this whole application is building the whole login registration using .NET Core, and we're going to create the web API so we can use a JavaScript framework to log in and register. So here, oh, sorry about that. Let me quiet this down. That's my ringer. Okay, so inside here, it's underlined. Even if I hit Control Dot, it doesn't want to bring the packages because I have to go back to the tools, and we're gonna go to Nugget Package Solutions. So we're gonna go. It's kind of like going to the store, going shopping, kind of like that. Think about it. That's where you find all the libraries, all the packages that you might need for the application. So we are going to go ahead and install this one. This one here is identity model token. Make sure it matches the one I'm having, so that way you don't have any problems. And make sure it matches your runtime. Mine is .NET 8, so that's the one I'm using. So mine is .NET 8, but you can use .NET 9 if you want. So it doesn't make a difference. The only thing I did notice that .NET 9 does not use Swagger anymore. So here I'm going to import another package. Here is the JW Bear. So I am going to make sure it matches my runtime. So pretty cool. So inside, we're going to go back to the token service where I'm implementing the iToken service. That's where we're going to go back. Now that I have imported the package, now I can hit Control Dot and the error is gone. So we're going to create a key. Well, this one right here is a variable key. The one now we're going to create another one is for credentials. I'm going to call it bar creds for credentials, and I'm gonna use new signing credentials, and I'm gonna pass a key, which is the variable on the top, and then we're gonna use a security algorithm, and we're gonna use the HMAC, and then make sure is that HMAC 256 byte. And then we also we're gonna set up some claims so we can pass our JWT registered claim names for the username. We're gonna pass another one for JWT registered claim names for we're gonna pass a GUID, new GUID to string. So let's do that. So first let's do bar claims, and we're gonna pass a list of those claims, and actually it's already helping me right here. That's the cool thing. So, and once we're done with the whole back end, we are actually going to be I'm going to do the whole front end with using React. So I'm going to test my skills. So here, and if you notice on the bottom here, on the bottom when you're building it, Visual Studio actually tells you, if there's any errors, so you can actually, and it tells you exactly where to look for the errors. Which is beautiful. And then once we're done with that, then we're going to go ahead and create a variable for bar token. So let's finish this real quick. So make sure you always put notes, so that way you can always go back on the application and you can find your notes. I always look at it like in your room, you come in, you know where to find everything, so you got to put down like little notes, organization, keeping the clutter more organized. So that's what I like about ASP.NET Core. You separate everything, all the concerns, so like when you build the application, it's easier, it's more organized. So here we're going to create a variable. It's called bar token. We're going to use new JWT security token, and we're going to pass a couple properties. The first one's going to be this one. It's going to be user, and we're going to leave that as null. Audience is going to be null. We're going to pass claims. And then we're going to leave those nulls, so that way if you want to change it later, we're going to leave those null for now. The audience and the issuer. And we're going to pass down as expiration. So the expiration is going to be daytime. UTC, you want to add up the minutes and want to convert it to 60 minutes. And then you're going to pass signing credentials, and then we're going to use the variable that we created, which is the creds. It's on the top. And then of course we have to return it, so we can use it anywhere in the application. So let's go ahead and type in return, so that way we can access it. So here let's do a return JWT security token handler, and let's pass write token, and what we wanted to write is the token. That's it. So that's pretty much it for this. So then once we have that going on, we got all the packages, we got no errors on it, nothing on it. So now we can go inside here, inside the extensions. All right, guys. So here we are inside my extensions, and I'm actually inside the application servers extension. And here, let's talk about this. So far, I have implemented the DV context in here for the data context for the connection, and I added some. I implemented some like the controllers. I implemented identity, and I implemented the course, because we are going to be creating a separate application. So that's where we're gonna. That's what we're gonna need to add up the course. But here I am going to implement all my registered custom services. For example, the one we created the iToken service. In token service, this is where we're gonna pass it, so we can actually access it. So you have to do a services dot add a scope, and this is where you will pass it. And inside there, we also have to implement to ensure the JWT secret. All right, so it's in order to keep the ASP.NET Core clean and modular, the JWT Authentication can be configured inside the application service extension class. So this is where we're going to put it. We're going to go ahead and create. We're going to create a variable here, and it's going to be called the secret key. So it's going to be bar secret key, and in there we're going to pass config, and we're going to do it again, app settings semicolon token key, and we also going to throw a new argument null exception, which is let's put a message saying JWT secret key is missing from the app setting JSON. Check the app setting token key. So that's what we're going to do in case it doesn't connect or it doesn't create the token key. This will be the error. So now we are going to pass down here. So we're going to configure the JWT authentication. So we're going to pass a service, and we're going to add authentication, and we're going to do inside the parentheses, we're going to put JWT bare default authentication scheme. So then we're going to add in, we're going to add up some options here. So it's going to have like a validate user sign a key. We're going to make it true because we're going to require that. So yeah, so this is how you implement it. So actually, you know, see that how the Visual Studio, it kind of gives you like, it gives you extra help. So it's pretty cool. Some stuff can come very handy. You can just modify it, you know, to whatever you need. You can modify it to your needs. But you see how this class here, this static class, it makes the program CS a lot lighter, so, and it's more organized, very clean. So, and then we are going to be heading to the once we're done with this, we're going to be heading to the app settings JSON. So let me see. Again, if you have any questions or you just started watching the video, make sure you can go back to the beginning and watch the whole thing. So inside there, we're going to have this is the app settings. This is there's one production and there's one development. So I have one in development JSON. So here we're going to pass the app settings, make sure it's spelled correctly, make sure it matches, and then there we're going to pass our token key. And here I'm just going to type in super secret unguessable key. So I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to copy a couple times because it has to be long. I think it has to be about 16 bits. So it has to be long. If not, it's going to throw you an error code. So, and if you want to encode this token key, you can actually go into a website. You can actually look for encoding my token key. You can actually go to Google and search it. So yeah, so it's pretty cool. So also too, like if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and you know, if you have any questions, I'll share the link for the code on the bottom of the video too. Yeah, and then so now we're gonna go ahead and create another class. Actually, not another class. I mean, just said another controller, and this is going to be called the account controller. So this is where we're going to implement. So here in the account controller, we're going to implement the login and the registration inside there. So we're going to go ahead and create a constructor. So you just type in CTOR, and you can start up the constructor, and inside there we can inject our iToken service for the registration. And we're going to have to inject the user manager and using application user, and we're going to have to use the role manager, and we're going to use identity role for that, and then also a sign-in manager, and we're going to pass the class application user. So we're going to use all of that. So and then from there we're going to go ahead and create a method, which is going to be one for login and one is going to be for the register. So what I like about ASP.NET Core is like everything comes, you know, built in already. So I have built this application in the past using just ASP.NET Core, but I have decided to separate it and create my API and then use another framework for the front end. So then I can actually deploy, and then if I ever want to change it, I can always change just the front end, and I can alter the back end, like for whatever I need it for. So inside here, I am implementing. I'm going to implement an underline underscore here. So I'm going to go ahead and start up the constructors here. So this one here, I'm going to do the iToken service, and I'm going to pass token services here. And I'm going to start it up, and then I'm going to pass the other one is called role manager, and I'm going to pass identity role, and I'm going to use role manager. And you can start up. All you got to do is hit Control Dot, and and you have options how to start it up. So normally when you start up a constructor and you're injecting inside there, it gives you this, but I always like to change and use an underscore, and that way I can actually access it inside my methods or functions, however you want to call it. So once I have implemented all my then once I implemented the services that I'm going to be using, then I'm going to go ahead and move to the method. So see, right now it's, see how the Visual Studio is complaining at the bottom. So once I have that, I got to start it up. So if I have to pick Visual Studios or VS Code, I think I like Visual Studios. It's like the whole, it's VS Code is like a very lightweight. It's a little bit different. But it's I like Visual Studio much better. It's formatted a little bit different. VS Code. VS Code, I think, is when I had a different computer, they had a lot less memory. I was able to I was able to run VS Code better. Like it was my computer didn't have enough memory, so I ended up getting a new computer. In this one, I do not have any problems. Like Visual Studio runs very good because it requires a lot of memory of your computer. Visual Studios. Yeah. Sorry, in the background, I have a cat. She's just likes to let me know that she's there. If you hear any noises, All right. So here we're going to implement the HTTP, and because it's a login, we're going to use HTTP post, and this is the login, and we're gonna make it asynchronous. So we're gonna pass. We're gonna use a task, and we're gonna use action result, and this one is for the login. And we're gonna pass the because I'm using view models, so I'm gonna pass the login view models, and I'm gonna use the model to bind the login view model. So inside there, once I have that, I want to use the model state and make sure it's valid. So I'm going to put down if model state is not valid, I want to throw a bad request. I want to return a model state, so that way it checks it. So then we got to create we're going to create a user, a bar user, and we're going to go ahead and so let's go ahead and pass a bad request here, model state. So now here we are going to we're gonna use a bar user, and we're gonna make a wait because we're using asynchronous. So and then underscore user manager, and find by name async, because again we're using asynchronous. And here we're going to do the model.email, because we're going to use the email to log in. And then here I'm going to check it. So I'm going to use, if user is equal to null, we're going to return unauthorized. So then we're going to pass a message. I'm gonna make it a little bit different, even though Visual Studio is recommending to pass the message, but I'm gonna do a little bit different. So I'm gonna pass new, and then I'm gonna pass a message. And here I'm gonna use invalid username or password. So that's why. Or you can just the message, you can actually the alert, you can actually just put down invalid username or bad or email, wherever it is. So once you have that, then I'm going to create a variable. It's going to be the result that I'm getting. So I'm going to name var result. And this one, you're going to do the await, and we're going to use sign in manager, and we're going to check password sign in async. So this here, it's a built-in method that's built in already with the identity. So we're going to pass the user that we have. And then we're going to use the model that password, and I'm going to start it up as a false. So then once we have that, then I'm going to check if the result does not succeed, then we're going to return an authorize. And again, we can pass a message saying message invalid username or password. You can do that. So that's that. And then once we have that, we're going to pass, then we can pass the token. So we're going to pass, we're going to create a variable here. It's going to be called bar token. Actually, no, let's put a message here. It's because you want to store the username inside using the inside the session, so that way it remembers you whenever you logged in, logged out. We're going to use HTTP context that section, and we're going to set it to a string, which is going to be the username. Okay. And now here, let's go ahead and generate the token. So when you log in, you have a token. So here it's going to be a bar token underscore, and underscore is going to be token service. And oh, wait a second, I forgot to did I forget to bring it in? Let me see. I think you know what I did? I forgot to put the underline on the token. So let me fix that real quick. Token service, I forgot to put, because I already have it. Do I have? No, I already have it. Let me. Yeah, I already have it there. I already have it there, so yeah, I'm not gonna bring it in anymore. So what I did is I just forgot to implement it. That's what it was. I just forgot to implement this. So instead of using this, I like to always use the underline. So now we can go back and we can actually we can use the underscore token. And inside there, we're going to create the token. And because we're creating a token, we have to pass the user. And then inside, what we're going to do is return. We're going to return a message. The message is going to be login successfully. And then we're going to use username. And inside, the username is going to be equal to the user. So let's pass a message here, and it's going to be login successfully, and let's pass the username. And the last thing is going to be the token, of course, that we're going to pass. Perfect. For some reason, the underline there. For some reason, the session is not importing. I'm gonna have to get back on that. Let me see. Let me hit Control Dot. No, it's not giving me any options to select. Yeah, I think I'm gonna comment it out, and then what I'll do is I'll come back into it. But yeah, based on the login, yeah. So you make sure whenever you're running asynchronous, you make sure you go ahead and await this. So let me just go ahead and comment it out. Yeah. So when we build it, we'll work on that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and let's focus on the let's go ahead and focus on the register. So again, we're gonna register. We're gonna use the HTTP post, and we're gonna pass register, and we're gonna use public because we want to be able to access it and anybody that's trying to log in. So we're gonna use asynchronous, and we're gonna do tasks, and it's gonna be action result, and of course. So here what we want to do is you want to make sure it's capitalized when you do the register. And then again, I'm going to pass from body, and then I'm going to use register view model, and I'm going to pass the model to bind that. Instead of using the model, you can actually call it register VN, or you can call it register model, but it has to be with lowercase. Okay, so now here we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and check the model state. So if it's valid, you want to make sure. If it's not valid, you want to return a model state, a bad request. So in the registration, there's a few things we're going to have to check inside the registration. Make sure the what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if the username is not taken already. And make sure that that we're going to have to create an email. We're going to have to use an email, username, and a name on it. So here inside there. So we're going to do is if await user manager, user any sync. So we're going to check to see the username, make sure it's equal to the email. That is so if it's equal, then we're going to throw a bad request, and then we're going to pass a message here, and then we're going to throw a message saying username is already taken. So now we're going to go ahead and create a new user in case the name is not taken. Then we go ahead and create a new user. So we're going to use bar. We're going to create here bar user. And we're going to do new application user, and we're going to pass the username, model email. We're going to pass the email, and we're going to make that equal to the model email, and then we're going to use name and the model.name. So and then again we're going to go ahead and check it, whatever result that we're going to get. So we're going to use user manager, create a sync, and we're going to pass the user. So here then we're going to throw a bad request. So here, if it's not successfully, if it's not, the result is not succeed, then we're going to go ahead and throw a message there. So then once we have successfully registered, then we can throw a message saying, yeah, registration successfully for a new user, new admin, whatever you want to put in there. And we're going to make also too, we got to pass the username, and we're going to make that equal to the username. So that's pretty much what it's going to be. And that's pretty much the whole username and login. I know this is a very long video, but once we finish with the whole thing, we're going to go ahead and test it. So that's it. Pretty much it. So let's see, make sure we don't have any errors in there. So I'm going to go ahead and build it. It's going to be .NET Watch Run. So it's going to go ahead and open it up, and it's going to run at localhost 5000. Usually that's where it runs. So let's go ahead and build it. Yeah. So just takes a little bit when it builds for the first time, and it's a lot to compile. But once it builds, that's it. So now I have the login and register in there. So let's go ahead and see and check it. Login and register. So here, because I want to have roles in there, so I'm gonna have to create a class, a static class where to see the data inside the database. So we're gonna have to create a class. So in this one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call it DB initializer. So let's go ahead and clean it up a little bit. Actually, let me take a look again, see why it's still throwing. Let me see why it's still throwing the error code there. I'm gonna have to look into that. Let me see if it gives me any hints. So no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and comment this out for now. I'll look into this. In the next video. All right, guys. So here we're gonna create a folder, and I am gonna call it DV initializer. And inside there, that's how we're gonna initialize the roles. So I'm gonna use one for the admin, another one for the doctor and the patient. So you can, whatever you want to create. Like if you want to use like for like a tech support, maybe you want to use it for you want to have technicians and you want to use you want to implement some roles. You can do that with this right here. So this here is I'm going to use an interface, and I'm going to call it IDB initializer. And inside there, I'm going to use boy initialize, and then I am going to create another class. And this one, also another thing too, like if you notice, every time I create an interface, I use the I in front of it. That's just that lets you know that it's an interface. So inside here, I'm going to create another class, and this class is going to be called DV initializer, and then this is going to inherit from IDV initializer. And in there, we're going to create a constructor. We're going to go ahead and implement data DV context in there. We're going to use user manager, and we're going to use role manager. So we can go ahead. So let's go ahead and start it up. We're going to go ahead and initialize it. So here, let's go ahead and create a constructor here. Another thing too, I notice if you're ever building an application, sometimes the application could be let's say you can't find the bug. You can't, like, you're spending hours and you're like, whoa, I can't find what the issue is. The bug is like so when I was creating this application, I encountered that problem. So I took a break and I said, man, why is it not working? I've done it before and it's not working. So all I did is turn off the computer, restarted the application, and voila, it started working. I mean, I was on it for hours. And anyhow, so that's I wanted to give you that tip. So sometimes, even though you restart and you're looking through every line of code and you're like, man, I can't find the error. So anyways, here we're gonna go ahead and create the constructor. And again, kind of like it's similar to when we're working at the on the controller. Inside the controller, we were creating we were initializing, we were injecting the data context. On the other one, we were injecting the token service. So here's almost the same. So here we're gonna go ahead and pass. So let's go ahead and change these. Instead of using these, I'm gonna use an underline, an underscore, I'd say. So
I had to take some allergy pills. Man, I was bad, the allergies. Usually when it's a lot of pollen, my nose starts running like crazy. I had to take chlorothing. So, but anyhow, back to the application. So here we're going to use the try catch, so we can actually make sure when we build in the migration, you can actually check to make sure if it already created a migration, doesn't do it again. So here we're going to do, if it doesn't have any migration, so then if it's greater than 0, and it will go ahead and create a migration. Okay, so here I'm going to put down underscore dv or context, whatever you named yours, and we're going to name this one database migrate. And then now we're going to pass the catch, and we're going to throw an exception. And this one I'm going to leave it blank for now. So I'm going to leave this one blank for now. We're not going to pass any errors over here. So, but below this, I'm going to use the if statement. I am going to use if dv roles or dv context roles is type any, and it's going to be x I'm sorry. It's going to be roles any, and it's going to be x, and it's equal to the x dot name, and you got to use I'm going to use utility helper dot admin. Sorry, I needed a sneeze, but it faded away. So okay, so then the utility, of course, I don't have it. I have to create it, so that's why it's complaining. So Visual Studio is complaining about it. So I'm going to go ahead and create a utility folder. I'm going to name it utility, and so I'm going to go ahead and right click, and inside the utility, I'm just going to create I'm going to create a simple class. It's going to be called helper. So this here, let's do right click. Let's go to the folder, and let's name it utility. Yeah. Inside the utility, we're going to go ahead and pass a class, and let's name it helper as a helper class. And whenever you're creating a class like that, and you want to access it before you don't like you want to be able to access it without initializing that inside the program CS, you have to do is just put down a static in front of it. So inside the inside the helper class, you got to put down static. So then I'm going to use public static string, and I'm going to use one for admin. You can use one for user. You can use one for whatever you're creating. You can change it as you please. So here it's going to be the string, and one is because this one is dedicated I'm using for the doctor, and the other one's going to be for the patient. So, and then the one for the admin, of course. So yeah. Oh, and also too, wherever you're watching the video, leave it on the bottom of the comment on the bottom of the video. Let me know where you're watching the video. Like to know where you guys are watching the video. Let me know what you guys think, and see if you'd like me to continue creating videos related with C# or ASP.NET Core, or we like to see more videos with either React or Angular. So, or if you want everything together. So anyways, so here, now that we have that implemented that, so let's go ahead and pass the role manager, and we're going to create a sync, and we're going to use new identity role, and then we're going to pass helper admin, and we're going to use get waiter. Even though the computer is kind of helping you, I want to change it. So I'm going to use get a waiter, and then the other one is going to be get result. So I see right here, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna change it, one for the admin, one for the doctor, and the other one's gonna be for the patient. Well, it's gonna be for the patient right here. Why is it red? Oh, okay. I think it's because that inside the utility class, the helper class, I think I end up, yeah, see, I end up putting user instead of a patient. So let me go ahead and change it. And also too, like I was gonna tell you, when I was creating the application in React, I'm using TypeScript, so makes the things a lot easier, especially when you compile. It allows you to find the error a lot faster, a lot sooner when it compiles. So now that we have that, we're gonna go ahead and use user manager and create async. And I want to go ahead and create an admin here. So this one is going to be called new application user. And this one is going to be called, I'm going to use username, and I'm going to use admin at gmail.com, and the other one's going to be email, and the email is going to be admin at gmail.com. And then I'm going to put down email confirm to true to make sure this already been confirmed. And the name, I'm going to name it admin. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it Sparky, you can call it admin 1, admin 2, whatever you want to do. So yeah, and then the password. So that's pretty much how you will see the data into the database. Yeah, my allergies are terrible. Even with the allergy pills, still have a little bit of my nose. It's like running. Anyhow, so we almost finished with this. So then, once we have that, because I want to go ahead and name it, I'm just gonna name it admin Spark, and then for the password, I'm gonna use admin 123 and shift number 8. So, and then I'm gonna use get a waiter and get result, and then right below this one I'm gonna pass application user. So this is gonna create the admin. So I'm gonna make sure the email is equal to the admin Gmail, and so it's application user equal to context.user first of default, and it's gonna be you, the little grading arrow there, and this one, let's go ahead and make it equal to admin at gmail.com, and I'm gonna use that user manager, add to role async. Oh, it does not like async, so it has to be just, I was trying to do first of default async, but it doesn't like it. All right, so it's fine. So you know what, on these I am going to I think I'm gonna remove the utility class, and I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it no, maybe not. All right, if it does give me a problem, then I'll remove it. All right, so then when we have that, then we have to go to the program CS to initialize it. So here inside the program CS, let's go ahead and initialize it, so that way whenever we compile the application and it starts up, it can create the database. So inside here, inside here we're going to initialize. I'm going to put a comment. Well, we'll put a comment afterwards. So over here we're going to use the using, so that way once it gets built it gets disposed. So I'm going to use bar scope equal to add services, and we're going to create a scope, and then there we're going to use bar services, and it's equal to scope service provider. And inside there, let's try to pass a try catch, so that way if it doesn't build or anything like that, it can, we can catch the error. So here, let's create a variable, and it's going to be db initializer, and we're going to pass a service. This is services get required services, and I'm going to use idb initializer, and right below that we're going to do db initializer dot initialize. So, and I don't know if you notice, but Visual Studio is kind of helping me there as I'm going. So here I'm going to do is catch, and then it's going to do it. It's going to be a section, and it's going to be we're going to pass here the error. So let's do a bar logger is equal to services. Bar logger equals to services, and then get required service. So, and here we can pass the error if there's any issue while it's creating the database. Yeah, pretty cool. So see, I don't know if you noticed, but yeah, the program CS is pretty light. Like, I don't have a lot of stuff on it. That's kind of what I like to do. I like to have my program CS a little bit more organized. I don't like to have it, all cluttered. So that's hopefully you guys find that useful the way I'm doing it. But if you don't, you can just have everything set up inside the program CS. So now I'm gonna go ahead and bring here the add services course, and let's put in builder. Let's see what's the builder. And here we're going to pass the allow headers, allow methods, allow credentials, and with we want to use the origins of HTTP. And I think React uses. I'm going to change it to localhost. We're going to use Vig to create the React. So and I'm going to use the port of 3000. So I'm going to use that here instead. So pretty cool. And also too, I'm gonna update the application, change a couple things around as the application grows. But this is like the pretty much like the foundation for the account, for the login and register, and I'm gonna add up more things to it. So here what we're gonna do is localhost 3000. So again, if you haven't followed my channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel, help the channel grow, and leave a comment on the bottom of the video if you find this video useful. So I'm gonna go ahead and close all the tabs. Let me go ahead and build it. Yeah, it's built. Let me go ahead and hit .NET Watch Run. So if everything goes well, it should be able to create a migration inside. It should be able to create roles inside the database. So make sure I don't have any errors in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and test it. So I'm gonna try to test the admin, since I created the DB initializer. So I'm gonna go ahead and test it. I'm gonna put in admin@gmail.com, and I'm gonna put my super password, and I want to see if it takes it. and I'm gonna go ahead and hit execute, and it's gonna throw me an error here. It says invalid email or password. So this is what I mean. I was this is the part where I got stuck. I was on it for I don't know. I think I was on it for like an hour trying to figure out. I was going through the whole entire code. I'm like, man, I can't find the error at all. So I keep looking at the command. I keep looking over here when it was building, see how it compiles. I was looking at it, and here it's complaining that I haven't initialized it inside the program CS. So again, like, you know how you have iToken service and token service inside the my extension. So you got to do the same thing over here. But even with that, I got stuck. I was like, man, I can't get the application to go. I was like, that is so weird. So okay, but anyways, let's go ahead and implement this. So I wanted to, you know, I was gonna delete the whole part where I got stuck, but I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna leave it here. So that way, in case it happens to you guys can, you know, it can help you. It can help you in the application in case you get stuck. Because like I said, I got stuck for almost an hour trying to find it, and then I don't know what happened. And I restarted the application. And when I restarted, the whole thing compiled, and it created the admin and everything. It was so weird. All right, so here. See, I went on it and go ahead and initialize it. So I use the services. I use the app. So they see that it's compiling again. It's trying to create the migration, but it's for some reason I was like, it's not working. So I went and I did .NET watch around. So I closed all the tags, and I was looking at it through every single line of the code. So here I am trying it out again, and see, I don't find any errors at all now this time. Everything is compiled, and going back over here trying to see if I, because sometimes Visual Studio will tell you what the issue is. I even Google it. I find nothing. See, no errors at all. And sometimes when I get stuck like that too, I notice too, what I do is I see how it's creating. Sometimes I use VS Code. Sometimes if it doesn't work, but yeah, I couldn't find anything wrong with it. So here I'm gonna go ahead and try it again, and yeah, I'm putting my password here, and I'm gonna hit execute, and let's take a look and see what error code it's giving me. So this is the error code that I got on it. It's throwing me like, see how what I mean when it's compiled, it tells you what the issue is, and you have to go to the line. So I went on it, I tried to adjust it, I tried to find it like on the line, except because it was telling me what error it is. It tells you the line to go on it. So that's pretty cool about, working with ASP.NET Core. So I went on it here. I checked there, make sure I had it. Yeah, I was like loose, I was scratching my head for a little bit. But that's the job as a developer. Anyhow, so here I end up, after resetting the whole, after restarting the whole application, and this is where it finally took it. It finally created the admin and added the roles. So finally I was able to log in. So yeah, so for an hour I was just trying to find out what it is. So yeah, so if you ever come across with the issue like that, it could be that you might have to restart the application. I'm sorry, your computer. And so when I build it, voila, so let me go ahead and log in. I'm going to show you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and build it. I'm going to go ahead and execute. And voila, I got the token and it's registered. Yeah, you see? It's working beautiful. So look at that. Beautiful. So now I have my backend ready and I can register. So let me go ahead and try it out, the register. So I'm gonna go ahead and log in. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go ahead and register a new member, a new patient, a new doctor, whatever you want to do. So and also another thing too, like when you're using VS Code, I notice you can actually see the table there if you're using SQLite. So pretty cool. Yeah. Again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, help the channel grow. Share the video, and if you find this video interesting, a little thumbs up. It doesn't hurt anybody. Okay. So here I'm gonna go ahead and hit execute, and let's see what happens. Yeah, it's successfully created a new user, and I can go ahead and I can confirm this because I can open my data, my DB context here, my DB table, and I can check. See, that's it. That is my that's the back end. So now I have a new member here. Pretty cool. So I mean, this is amazing. Creating I know it took a little time, but now once you build it one time, I mean, you can use this as an example, and build your application based on this, and you can go from there. And you can modify it. You don't have to use view models. You can use DTOs instead. And and then so in the next video, what I'm going to do is so see over here is working, but on the next video I am going to create the appointments, and then I am going to right now I'm removing the extra stuff that I don't need it. So but yeah, in the next video I'm going to be creating the one for my appointments, and I'm going to add up the I'm going to create a new table there. So but that's pretty much it. That's the whole application so far. So I know it was a long video, and I appreciate it for you guys staying to the end. If you watched from the beginning to till now, I appreciate it for staying and watching the video. So see, I had I have the whole application built, the API. So yeah, so here, see, it's a well-made application. I mean, the pros about Visual Studio is the Copilot is already built into VS Code or Visual Studio 2022, so it gives you a lot of help, especially if you get stuck or you can't find the answer. You can actually use instead of using you can use Google, or you can use ChatGPT also too. So it's supposed to help you. What I think about ChatGPT or the AI, I don't think they can take your job. I think it's going to help you, be better, more productive, better developer, so you can meet the deadlines. And so yeah, so it's great. It's great. I think it's great. So let me know what you think. And this is it. I'm testing it again. I'm building my application, but I'm using VS Code this time just to show you guys that it's I mean, it works the same way if you like VS Code. I was using quite a bit of VS Code before because my computer, the one that I had before, it didn't have enough memory, but the computer I have now is it has a lot. Yeah, it can handle Visual Studio 2022. So yep, right here. So, and it's working great. It's Swagger. I love Swagger. I know they took it out, but I still think Swagger is pretty good. So maybe I'll change and start using I also like Postman. Postman is another one too that I like. I know they changed it. They don't use Postman, and I'm sorry, not Postman. They don't use Swagger anymore on the new .NET, but it's okay. So if you're looking to get a job, I mean, definitely if you go online, if you're looking inside Indeed, or if you're looking for if you're looking for like jobs.com or something, the majority of the jobs, they're looking for somebody with a lot of experience when inside the .NET. So it's a good thing to have. I would definitely recommend to have .NET and and knowing how to create APIs, that's definitely a plus. And I noticed they don't really care too much about the framework, because it could be a React, it could be Angular, it can be Vue, or it can be just regular vanilla JavaScript. So, but yeah. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Keep coding, and hopefully I'll see you soon, guys. All right. Well, I will see you guys, because I'll be creating the next part of the video. All right. Peace and love, and stay safe. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Ta-da-da-da. We did it, guys. We did it. Beautiful.